she wasn't going to get engaged. Now, needless to say, her parents were not impressed. Because her father used to bring this young man shooting, you know, to meet Mary as well as the 7 other sisters that she had, you know. I never got to meet her parents until we got married. In typical Irish families, if you'll be accepted after the fact. And it was blind faith, absolute blind faith, because I didn't have much to offer, but just love, affection, and a dream. Many of you in this room know that my background was a rather tragic one. Tragic death of my father when I was 6. The tragic death of my mother and 2 siblings from that terrible trauma of the 40s in Ireland, tuberculosis. And my 2 years in the mountains of Dublin for treatment for tuberculosis. In all of that time, and after my mother died, my sister, who was only 14, tried to take care of us, but the state intervened and said she was a minor and could not take over, so we were sent to a state orphanage. Now, it was a pretty decent place, but it wasn't home, it was an institution. But one of the great things about it, and it relates to my love of reading and books and everything else, was that the manor house was like this, except larger. And it was land and a house that was deeded to the Institute of Charity to take care of kids who needed help. And it had a magnificent library. It was deeded to them by this papal count. And I wanted access to that library because I didn't know what the heck I was reading. But it was a book. Prior to that, I was picking up the Dandy and the Beano. Bill Woodley relates to those comic strips of years ago. And I'd cycle into Clonmel, the nearest town from the institution, pick up my bundles of comic books and sort of pass them out to the boys. But at night time, I would go down to the library. I didn't know what the heck I was reading, but I was reading about Aristotle and Plato, Thomas Aquinas, all of these people. I hadn't the foggiest idea of what I was reading, but I was reading. I was reading, I was reading. And the longer you continue to read, there's no way that you can avoid exposure to ideas, concepts, and everything that's good about life. And this is what I love about Princeton Academy. These young men, many of them come from privileged families and others don't, but nonetheless they're part of a community who is addicted, and I use the word properly, addicted to learning, addicted to helping, addicted to reaching out beyond themselves. Because what's the purpose in life if you're selfish and don't reach out to others? That is the reason God put us here. Not to be selfish, not to live in isolation, but to reach out to others and be a friend when needed. Be charitable without taking away a person's pride, and do everything that you can do to change the world. One last comment I want to make. I have, and you talk about a dream, I have, well, I wonder, since we're talking about anniversary, Mary was making more money than I had. And in order to, because I left ahead of her, and I decided I wouldn't leave her in London without the knowledge that I wasn't going away and forgetting about her. And I actually borrowed the money from her to buy an engagement ring. And she treasured that engagement ring for a number of years until she always loved making her Irish bread and Irish scones. She lost it in the dough. But the love was not lost. But what I want to say, this is my Irish passport when I first came to the States. And one of the things I want all our boys and all of you to remember, this great nation is divided. And the only way we can fix the divide is listen to what the other person is saying. Nobody has the right answer. Everybody has a solution. Listen to it. And all of the great, writers of the past, they were angry too, but they presented a point of view. They let the other person respond. And from that came some sort of a resolution. But character assassination on either side doesn't get anybody anywhere. But I want to say, because I love this great nation, I want to say that on the back of this passport, on the 21st of January 1957, where I boarded a plane at Shannon Airport to come to the States on a dreary, wintry night, whatever money I had left, at that time there was all sorts of foreign currency restrictions. Whatever foreign currency you had to turn it in at the bank. And they recorded what you turned in and what you got. Whatever I turned in Irish money, I received from the bank $47.65. That's what I came to America with. I came with a dream. I came with the one I loved. She supported me through college. She worked when I was going through college. And to both our credit, although Fidel is the only child, officially, we have 7 or 8 nieces and nephews that we sent to college and school and everything else. And that was our way of giving back. And that gift became possible because of this country. And I don't know how long God is going to allow us to live on this earth, but I would love to leave this country with divisiveness diminished and a hand reached out to a person who doesn't agree with you, either right or left. We're all God's people. We all have a mission, not only to be helpful to ourselves and our families, but to be helpful to everybody who needs a helping hand. God bless you all, and thank you.